it's a long-standing problem that if you have some sort of code, some sort of, like, it could be JSON or XML or program code in any language, it's very likely to have things in it that can't just be written inside of a string literal in C#. Like, it'll have quotes, double quotes, it'll have backslashes and all kinds of stuff. So we want to try to solve that problem once and for all. So how about a form of string literal that has no escaping in it whatsoever? That's what we call raw string literals. And the way you declare a raw string literal is like a string literal, except with more double quotes. So in at least 3. So in this case, now you can see that the content is printed verbatim over here. The backslashes are now part of the content, not escapes. So I'm going to just remove those because the whole point was to have those quotes correctly displayed. Now, what if I wanted double quotes, or double quotes are fine. What if I wanted triple quotes in my content? Well, now we have a problem again, but I can always add more quotes at the beginning and the end of a raw string. And by doing that, I can always
just add more quotes.
A way that I can defeat however many quotes
we'll
you
have 20 quotes
in the code
just to be safe.
Pasted in here, or I want to have verbatim in there. Now I'm in a multi-line one, and I can start, actually using multiple lines, and you can see in the output over there. Even though I have white space next to my content here in each line, the white space doesn't show up in the output.
Ooh.
So
that's nice.
Let's try to do a little bit of indentation within the content. And you see that white space is there. And so what is going on here is that we have some mechanism for ensuring that we can remove leading white space, which means that when your literal occurs inside of code that is deeply nested, you don't have to have the literal all the way, flush all the way to the side and
that was
kind of
awful.
break with the indentation flow of your code.
I'm so glad. I didn't know it bothered anyone else than me.
To eliminate the white space in front. What if you actually want to keep it? Well, it's actually the end quote here that decides how much white space you get. So the further I move this to the left, the more white space becomes significant.
That's a really
Essentially,
nice middle ground.
The end quote here decides the line where we cut. Everything to the left of that gets cut on every line. But sometimes you do want to interpolate, and you can have interpolated raw strings as well, in which case you put a $, and now single curlies become delimiters for interpolation holes, just like in interpolated strings today.
Nice.
And that's great, but what if you want curlies in content? We said we're not going to do any escaping, and we're going to stick to that. Well, what you can do, so I'm not allowed to put, if I put 2 curlies, that's going to be an error here. But what I can do is that I can put more $signs in front. And the number of $signs I put, I need to click in the right place. The number of $signs I put in front is the number of curlies it takes to delimit an interpolation hole. And any number of curlies less than that is content.
So
if I put just single curlies out here, they're just content. And I can even put single curlies around my interpolation hole.
I am conflicted. On the one hand, this allows you to not have to go and escape strings or build strings that are not representative of the data you put in them. On the other hand, this means it's a literal arms race of double quotes and $signs and curly braces, and you don't actually know until you see the output what you're going to get. That's pretty awkward. Now, to be fair, most people are only going to need the one set of triple quotes or whatever, and maybe $1 or $2 signs. So it probably won't be an issue. It's just funny.